Does it really matter? Do Nigeria's problems, are they going to discriminate against which of the leaders is coming in? Because these are all people who have been in the system before. So is it not time for faces who have not been in the system?
I completely agree with you that we need new faces. 100%. And that was why I have said it. That Atiku, P2B, Tinubu should step aside. And the reason is because the ruling party has failed, the opposition has failed. Are you aware that in the House of Representatives, you have more opposition members as representatives than the ruling class? If they had come together, and that's why I said coming together to form a consolidated fortune before you even begin to talk about merger. I did not say merger is not important. I'm saying you don't just finish an election and the first thing you start talking about is the next election. You consolidate and form alliances amongst yourself to work together as opposition. If all the opposition members in the House of Representatives had come together, they would have produced the Speaker and the Vice. We have to overhaul our electoral process. We have to change some of the laws in our system that is shifting us towards gerontocracy. If a man is wise enough at 18 to vote, he is wise enough to be an administrator at 18. The University of Nigeria started training me as an expert administrator from age 16 and a half. Can you imagine I graduated at 2021 and you're telling me I have to spend 10 years before assuming leadership of a country? Leadership is a gift, just like acting, just like every other talent. If a person has a gift of leadership, the person should not be denied of that leadership. Even from 18 years, if he has the sense to determine who will govern him, he has the sense to govern others. That is one. I don't believe in age limit whatsoever. Why place it? In advanced countries, I've seen 22-year-old people being members of the National Assembly. Why say 35? Why even say 25? What's your business? It is the business of the people to determine who governs them. Now that we are having leadership deficit in Nigeria, they should allow young men to come in and take over. That's one. As I've told you, the electoral process has been overthrown. There should be an immediate amendment of Section 137 of the Electoral Act. Actually, there ought not to even be an amendment because the provision is very clear. It is just the judiciary that overthrew that section, which said you don't need to bring any oral evidence to prove anything when the documentary evidence has manifestly proved it. If you go to INEC and they give you the documents you need, which they are compelled by law to give you, by Section 62, subsection 2.3 of the Electoral Act, you should be able to present it to courts, certified through copy, without asking another human being to come and speak to the document. The provision is clear and unambiguous, and the court ought to give it its interpretation. That is the first canon of interpretation. So we should allow people, if you want to prove your presidential, that there is a non-compliance. Now, let me tell you something. According to the notable pronouncement of my Lord Gumel, in the case of Sheriff and PDP, he said proper leadership and good governance must be devoid, must underline, of whimsical and capricious conduct, of self-serving attitude, of nepotistic and despotic dispositions, but must, as a concomitant bottom line and as of its hallmark, must consist of selflessness, of sincerity, and of dedication to the service of the overall objective of the government. What is the objective of the government? Security and welfare of the people. This president is in China in a new presidential jet that is unnecessary, while people are dying for security problems in Sokoto, in Meduguri, and then you're saying that is what should be done? No, this government is nepotistic and despotic. It is very self-centered and egocentric, all about itself. Well, you can see the Senate president made it clear that let the people that are protesting against hunger and hardship, let them continue while they will remain feasting. Why wouldn't they be feasting? It cost Nigeria about 805 million naira to maintain one member of the National Assembly, while they are promising 840,000 naira a year for the worker that is actually the productive capacity of the nation. So what I'm saying is that please don't compare whatsoever the opposition, what they would have done if they are there, with what the ruling party is doing. But I agree with you that the opposition leaders have not been able to show leadership to inspire their members to make sure that this perfidy that is happening to our electoral process and our judicial process are corrected. Because if all the members of the opposition parties in the National Assembly have maintained their stand, APC wouldn't, for instance, elect members into INEC who are card-carrying members of APC. You saw the two of them that were elected in. They wouldn't be going away with having presidential jet when people are dying, because these things must come by appropriation. So I agree with you that the opposition leaders, it is only when they consolidate and take on the ruling party that the people will begin to have confidence in them, and then they will be talking about merger. Now, the only thing they are thinking about is election, rather than thinking about the welfare of the people. That is why I say all of them have failed. Because what are the opposition doing in the parliament?